just gonna want to show you this. Like I said, some of the things are festive. I carved that big old pumpkin with my son, so we had all these pumpkin seeds. So I made like pumpkin seeds, and so if you guys are connoisseurs of pumpkin seeds and would like the recipes to these, I can send you recipes. They're different types. So this is cinnamon and sugar ones. This one is what I call it dill pickles, made with dill. It tastes like salt and vinegar with dill, pumpkin seeds. And then this one is what we call pizza. And it tastes a little bit like pizza pumpkin seeds. So these are just different things that you can do with if you carve pumpkins at your house. Pumpkin seeds. Right. And pumpkin seeds are good for you. All right. So right here is my setup. This is my mise en place. So our first lab when we did knife skills, remember how I said knife skills is a big part of mise en place. So your mise en place for knife skills looked a little different. But for the rest of your recipes, your mise en place should look like this. So everything is already measured and cut out that I have right here in front of me. All I have to do now is produce it. This saves a lot of time. So when you are actually taking your picture or doing your video, this is what I want to see from mise en place, okay? That is why it takes away that one sheet that you don't have to fill out if you have a kit, because I can see it right here in your picture and then I'll give you points for it. So if you're not showing me this, then you need to do that sheet for mise en place. Otherwise, I'm not going to count it. So either you're going to show it to me or fill out that sheet. I say the less that you got to fill out, the better. That's just my opinion. So I would just go ahead and actually mise en place correctly. You can actually do all this the day before you actually want to cook your sauce. Just make sure that you put everything in the refrigerator. If you're going to cut it up ahead of time. And then when you pull it out to actually cook your sauce, just put it out nicely, take the picture, bam, one picture's down, okay? Also here in my mise en place, I have everything that I'm gonna need to cook set up. I have my pot that I'm gonna put my sauce in, my mixing spoon, and I'm gonna go ahead and let's put this on the stove. I showed it to you already. My cutting board with my knife, my measuring spoons that I use to measure out all of this. So I just wanted to show you all of the equipment that I use for this stuff. Okay. And then I have a grater. You're going to get a grater because this recipe asks for shredded carrot. Okay, which is right there. And so I'm going to take the time out to kind of show you guys how to shred a carrot with a grater. If you don't have a grater, then you're going to have to use some knife skills, and it's pretty much really finely chop it up using the just like how you mix garlic technique if you don't have a grater. But if you have a grater, it's really easy. If you ever made carrot cake before, this is how you do it. It takes a long time. I have an electric one that I use for that. But here's my handheld one. So I'm just going to put it right here. I always cut off the ends of my carrot to make it really easy. Okay. And then remember, when you're going to use your grater, you want to use the sides where the blades are poked out. So you can, you always want to run your finger up it to check it, not down, because you're going to cut it. So run up, and if you feel bumps, then you know you are using the right side, okay? And then all you're going to do is just shred your carrot. That's all you got to do, okay? And then all the stuff will fall out. You're like, ah! And then shred it carrot, okay? The other technique that I'm going to show you is you have basil. You're going to put fresh basil in here. You're going to now practice that chiffonade knife cut that I didn't have you guys practice when you do your knife skills to be able to chop this up. So the first thing you want to do is take off the stems of your fresh basil, okay? Put it in there, okay? Then you're going to roll up your leaves. They're like in a little roll. Here, I'll move this off the line so you can ask it. You can't quite see it. Okay. Roll it up so it looks like this, right? And then I'm going to do this thin strips first. Of my basil. So I have these thin little strips that look like this. But then I'm going to go ahead, put them together and kind of mix them and chop them up really well, okay, for this particular recipe. Kind of do that mince technique for these. Okay, and then put it in there. I gave you just enough. So you will be using all of the basil that I gave you and your kids. So don't say none, just use it all. Okay. And basil is a very temperamental green, which it will start to turn real dark once you start to work with it, even when you go and rinse it. Okay. Kind of interesting. All right. So I wanted to show you those two before I get started. All right. So I'm going to bring you guys over to my oven. Okay. So I can start making this. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and take and bring all this stuff over there too. So for this particular recipe, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I am going to heat up my olive oil. Got my recipe. Just make sure I'm on there. So pour on my olive oil inside the pot, heat it up. And then the next thing I'm going to add is just my my vegetables. So I'm going to add all of my onion and my carrot, and I'm going to pretty much kind of saute them until they get kind of soft. How do you know if they're soft? If you want to like scoop some out and see if they're soft, you can. But I really go by my onion. Once my onion starts to look translucent, and I know that it's actually getting soft. Okay. I shredded my carrot for a reason because shredded carrots cook faster than whole carrots. Okay. So that's why I still buy the onion, because the carrot should be soft too. And so you're going to do that. It says about 5 minutes. So let it cook for 5 minutes. And in the pot, it looks like this. And it starts to smell really good. Right. Then with the juice in your can, you don't want to strain your whole tomatoes. Okay, so you want to use your whole can of tomatoes. Okay, you're going to go ahead and pour that in. And then you want to break those tomatoes apart with your spoon. Just mush it kind of apart right there. Gonna break those whole tomatoes. Use that a little bit. Just in that can, you get about 4 to 5 Roma tomatoes. Concassate, so pretty much the skins are peeled off for you. Nice. Now, if you do want to be a little bit adventurous, guys, in this, you remember how we were just talking about sauces and I said tomato sauce, you do put beef stock in there. If you have some beef stock at your house and want to use beef stock instead of water, instead of the 4 cup of water, use beef stock, you can actually do that too. If you want to pretty much do the, I won't say correct, but the proper technique of making an actual marinara sauce, you can do that. I'm just going to add a little bit more flavor. So pretty much this is that's kind of what it looks like. Okay, once you start chopping up those tomatoes. Okay, and then your recipe says after that, you're just going to go ahead and stir in the remaining ingredients that you have. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to add my crushed tomatoes in there. Stir it in. Go ahead and add my oregano. Stir it in. Go ahead and add my minced garlic. Stir it in. Sauce is getting everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna add my tomato paste next. If you just so happen did not put your tomato paste or your basil or your herbs in the refrigerator, or your whole little kit that you got in the refrigerator, your tomato paste probably went bad, because remember, tomato paste is one of the highly potential hazardous food, because it has a lot of acidity in it. So it probably went bad. So if that's the case and you don't have extra tomato paste at your house, you can actually omit it and not put it in there. Don't, it won't be the end of the world. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my basil. That. Basil. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper in the beginning. Okay. And then once this starts to cook down a little bit, I'll taste it and see if I need to add any more. So I always like to do a salt and pepper mixture, and I keep this around for different ones. So a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, some people prefer that sweet tomato sauce. You can do that too. If that is you, okay, once this sits, I'll say probably about like 15 minutes of having it simmer on medium uncovered. You can go back and you can taste it. If you prefer a sweet tomato sauce, then you can add a little bit of sugar into your tomato sauce or your marinara sauce for that sweetness that you like. And then you can also add more salt and pepper to get it to how you like it at the end. And pretty much that is it. This is a very simple marinara sauce that you can make. Okay. All right. If you're not going to use it with spaghetti today, you can always cool this down. Okay. Cool it down in the ice bath. And if you need to know how to do the steps of an ice bath, look at the copies of the book that I have uploaded on our module, and I'll show you how to do like an ice bath. You just want to get your sauce down to at least 65 degrees before you put it in the refrigerator. And that's just a safety thing. And then you can put it in the refrigerator or freeze it, okay, for as long as you like. Okay. And there you go, a simple marinara sauce. This recipe doesn't take very long. It makes about 4 cups of marinara sauce. Okay. All right. And that is all that I have for you guys for today.